Tillman on the tackle there. Well, we've already seen 2 tackles by the linemen, and none of them have been Alex Brown, who was spectacular last week. 12 tackles and a sack in that game against Detroit. Lance Briggs, the rookie, has been all over the place as a linebacker. And in the secondary, Azuma and Charles Tillman, the 2 corners, in charge of trying to hold Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce in check somehow, including the Rams back in Los Angeles. Up front, Mike Gandy, the left tackle, has struggled all season long. He will have the chance of trying to defend against Grant Wistrom this week. That should be a matchup certainly worth watching.
Bears actually starting with David Terrell
in place of Des White right now, along with Marty Booker as the 2 wide receivers.
There's the 8-man front that the Rams like to use to stop the run.
Anthony Thomas through a hole. They don't stop him there. Thomas all the way out to the 49-yard line. A gain of 20 on the first carry of the ball game.
And Kurt, we talked about the 8-man front. This is exactly what Howie Long showed people on the pregame show. An 8-man front, what you do, you start one way and then you cut back the other way. You get the linebackers to commit going to the left, then you break it back to the right. And that's where Anthony Thomas has his best yards, right up the middle.
Had a phone conversation with him. They need the 48 here on 3rd down. Here comes the blitz. Over the middle, intercepted. Charles Tillman, the rookie 2nd-round pick out of Louisiana Lafayette, had it come right to him, falling backwards, still made the interception.
Signed a 4-year deal. He loves being part of this Rams offensive line.
Bulger under pressure. Wide open. Isaac Bruce broke it up. Bobby Gray got right there, and Bruce was all alone. Gray came flying in to force an incompletion.
Well, Charles Tillman came on the blitz, and that's why Isaac Bruce looked so wide open. Watch Tillman. He's going to come from the corner here. It's a cornerback blitz. There he comes along with Mike Green, and that isolates Bobby Gray. And watch Gray come all the way over from center field. Folks, that's range. When you talk about a safety who's got great range, Bobby Gray had great range. He came from the center of the field all the way over to get over the top of an open receiver and make a big play. Established in last week's game.
Back to pass, Chandler. That one tipped to the line of scrimmage, and Desmond Clark catches it on the bounce. First completion of the day, a lucky one, and a 5-yard gain.
That was one of those look what I found. I mean, he had two linebackers there, and I think the ball hit one of the Rams defenders in the chest. I'm trying. If I'm lying, I'm trying.
Bulger again. This time Isaac Bruce. Tillman with the tackle, but Bruce makes his 3rd grab of the day.
I'll tell you, Charles Tillman has had an active day so far.
He's out of breath. He's got to be tired already.
Well, he started out with one of the best defensive plays of the day, covering Torrey Holt. Watch him here. Great bump, great reaction, and an interception. And then here's his pass interference that he had. Got a little too physical on that. Here's a great coverage and recovery against Marshall Faulk. And then they're even putting him in on the blitz. Here he comes from the outside, blitzing Mark Bulger.
Loose football. Brought in by Cam Cleland, and all over it are the Bears. Brian Urlacher with a tackle. That was a 2 tight end set. They tried a little end around to Cleland, and the handoff was blown, but Cleland recovered.
Well, it's because Keith Traylor is the guy who makes that. Watch Traylor and look at the great penetration by the big man. He's right up there and nails Cam Cleland just as he gets the handoff. And that's the thing about Traylor. Look at him. I mean, that is a beautiful thing. That is an enormous man that can move upfield with great acceleration.
He's returning kicks as well. 1st down from the 30. Chandler. That's the fullback, Stanley Pritchett. 5-yard pickup on that play.
And one thing about this Rams defense and why the short passing, I understand what they're doing. All right, let's
right here at Soldier Field. Bears need the 41 for the 1st. Chandler completes it. Desmond Clark fights, picks up the 1st down. He was down by contact. Tackle made by Adam Archuleta.
Message. That's a Jimmy Johnson coaching move. And Butch Davis, of course, no stranger to Jimmy Johnson.
Former assistant with Jimmy down at the University of Miami and at Dallas. Des White with the catch, pick up out to the 48-yard line.
Yeah, and
on third down, they need the 47 of St. Louis. Another completion, this time Marty Booker, and he gets it down to the 40 of the Rams, a first down for the Bears.
Yeah, this is what Chris Chandler has to do. This is what he did to win a couple games, to beat the Lions, and then to beat the San Diego Chargers. He had his precision passing working. Now he's got Marty Booker, again, who I said, Booker is a heck of a weapon to have out there.
Made the Pro Bowl last year for the first time. Got married while he was in Hawaii.
The other guy is Justin Gage, who we talked about earlier. He's on the other side, and I believe they will go deep to Gage soon.
Chandler back to pass. Over the middle. Once again, Desmond Clark, the tight end's been busy today. Picks up 5 yards on another reception right there. And we talked about
Dent.
Sean Landetta punting out of his end zone. McQuarters from the 40. In the Ram territory. Down the sideline, R.W. McQuarters takes it all the way in for the touchdown. $60 yards on the punt return for the score by R.W. McQuarters.
The kick by Landetta was long but low, and the coverage never got there, Kurt. You've heard of out-kicking your coverage. That's exactly what Sean Landetta did on that play. He out-kicked his coverage. The ball got there to R.W. McQuarters long before the defenders could.
Here's Paul Ettinger for the extra point. And R.W. McQuarters gets his second career touchdown, putting the Bears on the scoreboard and giving Chicago the lead. Obviously a problem for St. Louis this year, though. Ball at the 35. Bulger under pressure. Jerry Azuma with the sack.
I tell you what.
The old running back
you
coming
know what?
through.
A running back who can play quarterback, and this is a remarkable pass rush by Jerry Azuma. Watch his shoulders, watch him dip. Marshall Faulk is the guy who tries to block him. Watch what he does. He dips down and under and cuts back in. I'll tell you what. The defensive line coach for the Bears may think about that's Richard Dent. He may say, you know what, we ought to put Azuma on the corner more.
He's doing everything else. Kickoff returns, playing quarterback.
That is an amazing pass rush. There's Richard Dent, the D-line coach. And Faulk's one of the better blocking running backs.
Under pressure again. This time he's brought down by Alfonso Boone. Back-to-back sacks, and you know Richard Dent loves that. One of his defensive linemen, as Dent, the assistant D-line coach in charge of pass rush, doing it well so far.
I tell you, this defensive line played so well last week to keep the Bears in the games against the game against the Lions. This is a four-man pass rush, and not only does Boone win his battle, but Michael Haynes, the rookie on the outside, wins his. So Richard Dent has two of his four defensive linemen win their pass rush battles and pressure Mark Bulger.
They need the 35. Nowhere to throw. Bulger being chased, sacked again. 3 straight plays, 3 straight sacks, 3 different guys. This time, Alex Brown.
And the amazing thing about that, Kurt, is that's a 3-man rush. So the Rams offensive line that's come under criticism, and right tackle Kyle Turley fired back in the media, but this is a 3-man rush. They have 2 blockers for every defender, and 2 of the defenders get free. Alex Brown and Brian Robinson, and that is shameful if you're an offensive line.
Rams coming on the blitz. They pitch to Anthony Thomas. He gets a block and through a hole. Thomas with a gain of 5 on the run, and Marcelletta with the tackle once again. Teams all of a sudden. On third down, the Bears give it to Thomas. Anthony Thomas picks up the first. Right down to the 35-yard line. He needed 2 and he got 4.
Now they get that run game going, and part of it is Pritchett, the fullback, right here with a nice lead block. And that's really what springs Anthony Thomas for the first down, and it was also Pritchett's lead block on the toss play that got Anthony Thomas close to the first down.
First down.
You look at Anthony Thomas, below 50 degrees, 48 degrees today.
They'd like for their offense to put a few points on the board, but so far it's good enough. Thomas again, slips a tackle, gets the first down and more. Anthony Thomas down the sideline, inside the 10, down to the 4-yard line. 25 yards on the run by Thomas, and the fans love it.
And a lot of people will tell you, and Anthony Thomas will tell you, this is why you stick with the run. This is why you stick with Anthony Thomas. And we talked about his first run being 21 yards, and then he only had a yard to carry it for the next 5. All of a sudden, they stick with him. He gets a couple pretty good runs, and now another big one. Like all running backs, Anthony Thomas wants to get that ball in his hands 25 times a game to get his rhythm and keep that average up. Look at that.
Thomas. And the A-Train takes it down to the 1-yard line.
That's Bears football, right? Anthony Thomas, big, strong back, straight ahead. Get a push on the offensive line, and the offensive line did get a push.
Well, here we go, 4th and goal. Half a yard away. Thomas, bottled, fighting, second effort, touchdown, Chicago Bears.
That decision right there, Kurt, as much as anything, besides confidence in Anthony Thomas, who gets this with his second effort, shows respect for this Rams offense because they don't think they can win this game by just kicking a field goal.
Paul Ettinger on for the extra point. And they talk about Bears football. They get the 3 sacks, which forces the Rams to punt. They get a short field starting at the 47. And Anthony Thomas took it in from a yard out. And now the Bears have a 14-3 lead.
Well, the line of scrimmage is neutralized. And Anthony Thomas is actually stopped on this run right there. But he doesn't stop. He keeps going. And when he's on top of other players, he's not down. He's not down until his knees are down. And you can see clearly the ball does cross the plane of the end zone.
Thomas alone in the backfield on second down. They pitch it to him. Anthony Thomas with blockers. Thomas will pick up about 5 yards on the run. Pisa Tino Isamoa on the tackle.
I think you get a sense, too, that Anthony Thomas is starting to, the train is starting to roll. I mean, you can even see it in his body posture and the way he's reacting in the huddle and his alertness and he's got a little bit of a bounce to himself.
They can get a first if they can get the 40. That won't do it. Marty Booker out to the 35-yard line, and the Rams use their final timeout. And the week before, they struggled as well against San Francisco in a 30-10 loss. Here's Jerry Azuma. Azuma threw a hole and another big return against this Rams team. During halftime, our Dan Jiggins had a chance to talk with Dick Duran about Anthony Thomas.
Hey, you stayed with the run game, too, in the lateness of the first half. and you had Anthony Thomas finally punch one in for you.
We'll have to do that. You know, that's really who we are. We got to run the ball and throw the ball in order to win. But Anthony's really a good back. We got to give him the ball more in the second half, and hopefully, you know, come out way on top of this.
And you got a pass rush this time around.
We're getting some pressure on him. You know, our guys do a nice job in terms of scheming it, and then the players are playing hard.
All right, thanks a lot, Coach. Appreciate it. Kurt?
All right, Dan, thank you. And they give it to Thomas right away to start this second half. Picks up a yard on the play.
And if you look at the first half stats, Kurt, Bears with the running game here, Rams with none. And all that is Anthony Thomas. And then the two big turnovers down here. This is just where the Bears want to be. And, you know, when you talk about the Rams, and I mean, 92 yards of total offense is just, it's pathetic.
Well, and once again, we talk about it being a continuation of a problem that they've had the last couple of weeks. Here's Chandler's first pass in the second half. Stanley Pritchett, the fullback. Penalty markers down on the play as he's brought down by Tommy Polley.
Kirk has been really active today, putting a lot of pressure on Mark Bolger. Jerry Azuma with one sack. There's a sack there by Alfonso Boone. Another sack. And then two batted balls by Brian Robinson.
Marshall Faulk stacked up at the line of scrimmage. Brian Robinson, who had those two batted passes in the first half, makes a big tackle here to start the second.
The Rams running game has just been pitiful, hasn't it? 31st coming into today, and you know they said it was because of the fullback. Well, this one here, this is a one-back running formation. So it's Marshall Faulk with all the blockers up front.
End of weather. Chandler. Pritchett out of the backfield. He's been busy as a fullback receiving the ball today. Tommy Polley with the tackle, but once again another quick pass made to the fullback Pritchett.
You know, Tommy Polley is
a situation the Bears have been good in today. 0 for 4 in third or 6 or more. And they convert this time. Des White. White right there, about a half-yard across the first down marker.
Well, this play starts with excellent protection up front. They slide out. We just talked about Grant Wistrom. They slide out to block on Wistrom. And Chris Chandler has a nice pocket. And there's Des White. He breaks right in on the slant. Well executed.
First down at the 23. Chandler again. Marty Booker. Another Bear first down. A gain of 13.
Yeah, and can you say going after Fisher?
And a late flag. Boy, this was after everybody was headed back to the huddle. So it backs them up. They actually lose 2 yards on that play.
Remember, it was a penalty that undid the Bears' first drive this half.
Here's Anthony Thomas running hard. Thomas will pick up about 5 yards on the play. Robert Thomas with another tackle.
They put both safeties in pass coverage.
Rams with only 14 yards rushing so far in this game. Marshall Faulk picks up 2 more on that one, but that's it.
Yeah.
Lance Briggs hit him and drove him backwards.
And when you can stop the run with 7, you can afford to keep your safeties back and defend the pass. And that's what they did on that. They stopped the run with 7. And you see here the Rams rushing has been just pitiful over the last 2 weeks and now today as well.
And Marshall Faulk has been back the last 2 weeks. Had 20 carries last week for 48 yards. And so far today hasn't done nearly as well. 9 carries for 20 yards. They need the 41. Quick pass by Bulger. Isaac Bruce going to be near that marker, but short.
Nice tackle by R.W. McQuarters. Boy, how many plays have we seen these Bears cornerbacks make today, Kurt, where they stop a pass play short of the first down by making a really good tackle?
Need to get it to the 36-yard line. They come out throwing. Broken up by Charles Tillman. Mike Furry, the intended receiver, but another good play by this Bears secondary.
Charles Tillman, the rookie cornerback, has made plays all day long. And his coverage is just too good. Watch him right here on Furry. He just stays so tight. He's on him, and he knocks that ball down. The other thing is, Kurt, that ball's thrown behind Furry.
Rams. Bulger from the shotgun. On third down. Throws it. Dane Looker with the first. Oh, he was upended by Mike Brown. My goodness.
Well, two things here. One is Dane Looker, Mike Mars said, always makes two big plays a game. Hey, they've been terrible on third down. This is a big play by Dane Looker on the outcut, but look at the throw there. You know how Bulger's been throwing it behind? That ball is placed perfectly by Mark Bulger. And then that's a nice hit by Mike Brown.
Another former member of that Berlin Thunder team over in NFL Europe, along with Ahmad Merritt.
By Mike Martz, a gutsy call by Mike Martz.
Marshall Faulk back in the game, caught in the backfield by Alex Brown. Oh, there's a young man who continues to excel.
All right. Absolutely.
In his second year out of the University of Florida.
Nice play by Brown. He's got Cam Cleland is blocking him, and he just shucks him, tosses him aside, and gets upfield.
And that was a nice play because Brown, when he came out of Florida, was known as a guy who could sack the quarterback, but there were questions about his ability to stop the run.
Well, he had a breakthrough game last week against Detroit, and when he talked to him, he said, hey, my wife told me before that game, just play. Stop thinking and just play the way you did in Florida.
Always do what your wife tells you.
I do.
On third down, Rams need the 10. Bulger being pressured and sacked. Michael Haynes. His second sack as a pro, and that is the fourth sack of the day by this Bear defense.
So the Bear defense just plugged the hole, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it just seemed like they were just flopping down on the ground as the Rams marched down the field. But all of a sudden, two big plays, one by Brown, one by Michael Haynes, working right around here, right around the edge against Kyle Turley. And I'll tell you what, he manhandled Turley. He got under his pads and he shed him. And his offensive line's got to protect him from the Rams D-line.
Play fake. He's got Marty Booker. Booker juggled it and brought it in.
Well done.
Tommy Polley with the tackle, but a pass play of 24 yards.
Nice route by Booker. Excellent throw by Chandler. It's just a post pattern. Watch Booker. He just gets right here in the middle of the zone, and the ball is perfectly placed by Chris Chandler. Now, that's the thing about Chandler. He's had a very rough day, Kurt, but he's a strong arm, and when he gets on, he can be terribly accurate, especially with the deep passes.
First down at the 39. Over the middle, once again, this time Desmond Clark, and he breaks the tackle. Aeneas Williams had him, but Clark got away from him. And he's all the way down to the 11-yard line. 27 on the play.
Well, Chris Chandler flipped the switch. Didn't he? He flipped the switch.
Flashback to the old days.
He has been struggling. He struggled all last week. He struggled all day today. And all of a sudden on these two passes, the Bears have just stretched the whole field and are threatening to take the lead again.
Three wide receivers in on first down at the 11.
I think they need to blitz him.
Chandler with time towards the end zone. Caught. Des White. Touchdown Bears.
I tell you what, they blitzed Chandler, but his offensive line gave him enough protection to throw that touchdown pass.
How about the Bears coming back with a three-play touchdown drive?
And all of them long passes by Chris Chandler, and all of them perfectly thrown.
Well, this is a key extra point from Paul Ettinger, who's missed a 34-yard field goal today, but he's never missed an extra point in his career. This one made as well, and the Bears have retaken the lead.
That drive makes you say, well, how come the Bears didn't do that all game long, Kurt?
Chris Chandler 3 for 3 to 3 different receivers, 62 yards. The capper, the touchdown to Des White.
Here comes both linebackers. They're both picked up. Chandler has time. And I tell you, that was a nice leaping catch by Des White.
Remember, Des White, normally a starter, did not start the game today.
Picks up the passing along with some Marshall Faulk running.
Bulger play action. Across the middle, and it's intercepted. Jerry Azuma with the pick. Torrey Holt, the intended receiver, but the second interception today. And what a game this Bears secondary has played. We talked about Tillman, the 9 tackles and the interception. And now Jerry Azuma, who's played so well, picks one off.
We've seen Mark Bulger make some physical mistakes today with some throws. This is a mental mistake right here. You're going to watch him. The play comes right here. He looks for his receiver. And I mean, Azuma just has him totally covered. Azuma slips underneath Torrey Holt. And it's as if Mark Bulger didn't even look, Kurt. It's as if he did not look.
Oh, remember last week, he had that interception on a play by Ray Lewis, and he told us he never saw it. That he just assumed that the guy would not be there. Don't know for sure, but this may have been another case, the way that play looked, that he assumed Azuma wouldn't be there.
He may have read the coverage wrong and may have thought Azuma would be over the top, but the safety slipped over the top, and Azuma slipped underneath the pass.
Anthony Thomas runs for 4 yards as the Bears will try and run some clock here.
And puts them ahead 21-20.
And then their defense comes up with another big play in the interception by Azuma. Thomas delays it and winds up picking up 2 yards on a play that could have been stopped for a loss of about 3 or 4.
That was a nice read, nice play and reaction by Tommy Polley.
Because they have to get it across the 48-yard line for the first down.
Got to watch the hard count by Chandler.
Back to pass. Marty Booker. Incomplete. Robert Thomas and Jeremetrius Butler right there forcing that ball to be thrown low. Chicago. And now St. Louis has it. First down at the Bear 47. Down by a point. Bulger being chased, lost the football as he went down, fell on top of it. Bobby Gray got the sack, 5th sack of the day for the Bears defense, and a penalty marker on the play as well. Wilkins kicks this one deep. Azuma from the 7.
Look out.
Well, they've already returned a punt for a touchdown. Jeff Wilkins, the kicker, had to make the tackle to save a kick return for a touchdown.
That is an exceptional job by Wilkins. Azuma, the #1 kick returner in the league right now. And look at that speed. Burst to the outside. And Wilkins does a great job of getting frontal on Jerry Azuma. That's a great job. A lot of kickers don't make that play. They throw themselves at his feet. You know what I'm saying? They do some pathetic flop. And Wilkins just put his shoulder right into Jerry Azuma's chest.
Bears with the ball at the 45. They're out of timeouts. Chandler to the sideline. Des White stays in bounds. That's a bad play by Des White.
Well, that's a great tackle by Travis Fisher, Kurt. He caught him by the collar and yanked him down.
Chandler spikes the ball.
Did you see that tackle, though? I mean, he just got a hold of Des White.
The time they lost on the clock was not worth the extra yard.
Watch him here. Look at this. He almost gets by. He puts the move on him.